Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. A lot of people have asked me about the proposed TKO Turkey Alalshikh League or whatever the hell it's going to be. And to be honest with you, wherever anything like this is concerned, I like to sort of wait until the dust has settled. Because, circumstances change and sometimes things that turn out in a way that you're not expecting them to, and different things get implemented. And so I'm kind of, I don't really have a solid opinion of it yet. But there was talk of the purses that are going to be offered to the fighters. And I put something on the community page of the channel listing the purses, the amounts, and what the stipulations are for those particular fights. So just to briefly go through them now, $20,000. So we're talking £16,500, something like that, for a 10-round bout against an unranked fighter. Okay, so 16, and let's say 16.5. I'll do it in British pounds because I'm UK. If you take off manager's fees, your training camp, everything, you're not walking away with a great deal of money. Tax, obviously. What are you going to walk away with? 10 grand tops? For an unranked fighter, an unknown. I suppose if you don't have any sort of promotional push, any sort of leading management figures guiding your career, as a one-off, it's not a bad little payday. But certainly nothing out of the ordinary, nothing spectacular, is it? It doesn't raise the eyebrows. You might think, no, that's not bad. Then it's $50,000, so 40 grand, say, in pounds, when ranked by the company, which would be TKO and Alalshikh's lot. That's at number 5 to 10. So if you rank between 5 and 10, you get 50 grand in dollars, about 40 grand in pounds. Then it's, if you're ranked either number 3 or number 4, you get $125,000. So under grand. Oh, that's okay. We're talking better money now, better money. Then if you're challenging for a company championship, company in inverted commas, company, whatever it's going to be called, you get $375,000. So I don't know, what's that? Just over 300 grand. Okay, in pounds. All right. And then if you're defending a company championship, it's $750,000. So 625,000 in UK pounds. Okay, so you're getting into more serious money. But there are, again, all this is speculation because we don't know how it's going to go, and it's all hypothetical at the moment, and it's all conjecture. But let's start with the lower amounts. Like I said, if you're going to walk away with about 9 or 10 grand in pounds as a fighter, if you're a total unknown, okay, as a one-off, that could be something. But it's not a one-off. You're signed to this league and you're obliged to fight. I think they're talking about maybe 4 times a year. So let's say in net pay, you'd fight 4 times in a year. You're probably getting about between 35 and 40 grand take-home pay. You, the fighter, once you've paid everything off. All right. Not great money, is it, for going in the ring 4 times a year and being in tough, competitive fights? Now, this is the thing, because there's no gimme, supposedly, in this little tournament. So you're fighting 4 competitive fights for a take-home pay of, well, let's say 40 grand. I don't know about that. I think anyone in that position would rather stay autonomous and maybe even go down the journeyman route, because you ain't going to get 40 grand a year. But there have been journeymen who have had 30, 40 fights in one year. Of course there have been. But the fact is that if you're a journeyman, you don't have to be competitive. You just have to last the distance, collect your money, and then move on to the next one. As far as being ranked between 5 and 10 and getting 50 grand in dollars, roughly 40, and a bit more than 40 perhaps in pounds, Again, 4 times a year, 3-4 times a year, you're contracted. Break it all down. Again, it's seen worse money, but I don't know. It's the competitive fights that gets me. And then we get into the more serious money, which I suppose, you know, therefore it becomes more attractive. But don't forget, let's put it this way. Let's move on to another subject, which I think no one has really mentioned, and that is that what about if you are a potential ticket seller, you're someone who is an exciting fighter that people want to watch, and you go into the ring in a competitive fight against someone who doesn't have a very exciting style, isn't really a ticket seller, who no one is really that fussed about watching. So you've got an economic worth because of your style, because of the fact that you've got a lot of good fan base. The other guy doesn't, but you're getting paid the same amount of money. That could be problematic, I think. Now, when we get into, you know, challenging for the belt, $375,000. And if you hold the belt and you're defending it, $750,000. You have to say, well, again, it would depend on weight division, I think, because if you're talking a heavyweight who holds one of the 4 big ruling body belts is probably going to get in excess of $1 million, possibly much more than $1 million. You would think. Even against a modest opponent, not necessarily a competitive fight. If you're challenging for a world belt, IBF, WBA, WBC, WBO, $375,000 gross, you probably get, you might well get more than that, even as a heavyweight challenger. Now, if you're a flyweight or a bantamweight, it'll be a different story, because they don't get big money. Most of them don't get big money. And I think most flyweights, they certainly wouldn't turn their nose up at $375,000 for a title challenge. It's a sad fact of life that even if you're an extremely talented flyweight or bantamweight, you're not going to make as much money as the heavyweights. It's not right, not justifiable, but for whatever reason, casuals gravitate towards the higher weight classes. Okay, I suppose I can understand why, but if you're a boxing fan, like I say, I mean, for example, the Japanese fighters I keep banging on about, they're so exciting and they're so talented. So I don't know, this whole thing, again, I'm not making a judgment on anything yet, because I don't, like you, I don't have many details, and it's all open to speculation. And with regard to these figures, these purse figures that have been mentioned, Turki Alalshikh, I think, has come out and said they're not necessarily accurate. It's almost like he's saying, well, we haven't decided yet, really. So, I mean, Dan Raphael, Mike Coppinger, and a few others who normally give good information seem to feel that these figures are more or less legitimate. But we'll see. We'll see. So I don't know. I mean, some of you left comments on the community page beneath the little picture I put up with the purses on. But let me know what you think. If you've got any further comments, leave them in the comment section below. You know, I'm very skeptical of this endeavour. Am I being biased because I don't like, or certainly don't trust Dana White? Yes, probably I am. But with good cause. I think I can make a compelling argument to say he's got it all to prove when you consider his activities in UFC. But all right, I'll try to keep an open mind. But let me know what you think. Yeah, thanks for listening to the video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new, because you're helping us out, and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, The sun is out. Can you see it shining through the blinds? Enjoy yourself. Have a nice day. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.